Howdy, folks. Welcome to the channel. I got a big grin on my face because I understand why funRonni said that this was her favorite. Like, you skipped episode 2, the 90-minute part. Like, the way this 50th anniversary was done, if you haven't seen any of these, is they were 90-minute segments called episodes. I broke each down into roughly 15-minute parts. So there were 6 parts to each episode. And I finished episode 1 about a week ago. And then Ronnie made a gift to the channel for me to do episode 3. So I broke that down into 6 parts. So this is actually the 12th part that I've done of Bill Anderson's 50th anniversary. But we skipped episode 2. I haven't seen episode 2. Randall Fryer sent me the DVDs that he'd had for a while, but I don't have a DVD player right now. It's in storage, so I haven't seen it. But nonetheless, this is absolutely fantastic, Ronnie. So thank you again. This is the conclusion, the finale of episode 3. There's still an episode 4, which I'm not sure if I'll get to that one. We'll find out how that goes. But right now, the home stretch of episode 3. Thank you again, Ronnie. Here we go.
Yeah.
You did pretty good yourself.
John, did you?
It sounded great.
You didn't really believe in that song at the time we wrote it, did you? Because I'm not sure either one of us really believed in it.
I remember thinking that day, this is one of my favorite songs I've ever written. It will never get recorded.
Yeah.
And
Whiskey
this was
Lullaby.
at a time, I mean, Vince, I know you really remember this, but we wrote that in 98, I think.
I was just going to say, how
April of 98. And right during that time, country radio was in this thing where they wouldn't sing about drinking at all. They were not playing. There was this phase. I remember RCA trying to get me to change the lyrics to some songs. Because, you know, I like drinking songs, you know, and it's like, and half the record, I was like, how am I going to, you can't do that, you know? But it was during that time, you know, and especially with the double suicide in the middle of it, I figured no one will ever record this. And
Well,
Bill,
they didn't for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I know, but I kept trying to talk Bill out of demoing it. I said, yeah, this is a waste of money, you know. And he called me from the fire hall one day, and he had some players down there ready to demo it. So I showed up over there, and we sang it, and I thought, man, nobody's ever going to record this song.
Wait, the fire hall. Those of you who are in Nashville that maybe you're in the business, is that like, I know there's a place, I think they're called the Pit or the Fire Pit. My friend, Frankie Ballard, I don't know, it was going back 8-10 years. He took me to it, actually, because I was visiting with him. I knew Frankie before he had a songwriting deal, let alone a record deal, but all that, he took me in there. And I think it was called the Fire Pit, where they do the recordings. It's right there on Music Row.
So, but he knows, and I don't. And that's a lesson learned. Just
Well,
shut up and follow the man.
people probably don't believe this, but the original people that first considered recording that before Brad and Allison did it, the original people that only people that showed any interest in it was the Dixie Chicks.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then, of course, you know, that whole thing kind of blew up, and Brad stepped in and asked if he could record it, and give Brad the credit for coming up with the idea to put Allison on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, who better
Because we
than a
did not write
bluegrasser?
it that way.
What's that?
You need a good bluegrasser if you're going to kill somebody.
Yeah, you do.
Yep. True.
Well put. Well put.
Thank you, the way you guys did.
The video had a lot to do with the success of that song, too.
You think?
The video that Rick Schroeder produced, yeah. Because I think it cleared, I was having people ask me, did he kill himself? Did he drink himself? What, you know, and I think the video cleared that up for a lot of people.
Did the video portray the song as you intended it?
I think it did. Did you, John? What did you think the first time you saw the video?
I thought it was really interesting. I'll keep it short, but there's a great story about that they were not going to do a video for it. And Chandra LaPlume had met Rick Schroeder on some other thing they were working on, and he was asking her about how you write a treatment for a music video. And she just said, you know, this is my favorite song, just write me a treatment just as practice. I want to see what you would do. And so he wrote that treatment and gave it to her, and she thought it was great, so she gave it to Joe Galante. And you know, then he took it to Brad and said, we have to do this. This is a great treatment, and Schroeder wants to do it. You know, he might have not taken any money. He might have did it for the experience of it, you know. So I thought it was really interesting, you know.
Yeah.
A treatment, it's like in screenwriting, if you're going to do a movie, like a treatment is basically you lay out the scenes, how you see them are going to be done, shot and such. And so I'm assuming that in a music video, you would do a treatment first. Before you shoot the video, obviously, you do a treatment so a producer could get a sense about what the shot would require, could it get done, and so on and so forth. But it's really just an industry description, an organized description of how you see the video being shot.
And there's another interesting thing too, is Allison wanted to change that one line in the chorus because she didn't feel comfortable singing "Blew Away Her Memory."
Yes, because we wrote it that way. We
wrote it,
finally
you
blew
know,
away her memory.
We went as dark as we could.
Yeah.
You know, and she changed that line, but
Drank away, yeah.
yeah, the checks were the same.
That's what Harlan used to say. He'd say, you can change any words you want. He said, just don't misspell my name on the check.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we have another great bluegrass singer in our midst, but she's also as equal lover and as equally talented as a traditional country singer. Rhonda Vincent is with us here today.
I love Rhonda.
Hi,
And where's
Vince.
Jane?
How you doing,
Hey,
pal?
Bill.
I know you love traditional country music and have recorded plenty of it, and it's some of the neatest stuff going. And you're obviously one of the greatest and most visible stars in bluegrass these days, and all that. But you still, I know you have a pretty tender spot in your heart for the real deal country music stuff.
Well, growing up, when I was 5, we had a television show and a radio show, made our first recording with my family, and it was the music we were doing was considered country music, even though Dad might play a banjo, and you know, he learned to play the banjo by listening to the Grand Ole Opry. Tuned it in A, he couldn't see that Earl had a capo on. So,
How many strings did he break?
No,
brought-
it's still tuned to this day.
Really? Never broke
He
a
still
string?
has his Gibson banjo, and it's tuned in, and we sang really high, so he just kept it that way, even when he discovered it. But just always grew up, you know, singing country songs, and my Aunt Catherine sang like Kitty Wells, and we would sing Bill Anderson songs, and you know, I feel like I've grown up with you, Bill. So you're just part of the family, and a special treat for me to be here today. And I also have a message for you. I recently performed over in Virginia, and a lady came up to me and she started talking to me about Bill Anderson and how that she came to your show and she told her husband that you are the only man that she would leave him for. Well, this has been many years ago, and she wanted to let you know he is now deceased and she is available.
I think that's the idea for another double suicide drinking song.
Her name is Louise, and she's in Virginia, and I promised her I'd give you that message. I didn't know I was going to do it right here, but I thought you might like to know that.
Trying to get you hooked up.
That's right.
Did you give her his address or anything?
No, I didn't, but you can write her, Bill. You can write her. Is it BillAnderson.com? I am an internet junkie, so I love that. There's nothing more special than getting email from your heroes, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
We have swapped a few back and forth.
We have indeed. And I have to tell you, I have extreme anxiety. I had to take my jacket off from singing this song for only the second time in my life, but it's really fun for me. And do you want me to head that way?
Anytime
I got to go
you
get
want.
a guitar.
Only the second time she's going to sing it. Oh, nice. Pretty sure I reacted to this.
I love those bright lights and country music.
Oh, man.
I won't sit around and cry tonight like every night before. I just learned that I don't really found a little place downtown where girls like me can go. They've got bright lights and country music.
Such a simple
Bright
concept.
lights and country music, a bottle and a glass. Soon I'll be forgetting that there ever was a past. And when everybody asks me just how I forget so fast, I'll sing bright lights and country music.
That's a real country song.
A table by the bandstand, a bottle filled with wine. Honky tonks were made for girls with loving on their mind. Nothing else can take away this loneliness of mine. White lights and country music. Bright lights and country music, a bottle and a glass.
Bill wrote this?
Soon I'll be forgetting that there ever was a past. And when everybody asks me just how I forget so fast, I'll say bright lights and country music. Yes, I'll say bright lights and bluegrass music.
That was fun.
You can sing any kind of music.
That's great. Good job, Ron. You know, that's considered your theme song, isn't it, at the Opry? And I love every night. I finally asked him after years and years and years of hearing you say, "Good night, Jaybird," every time when they were shuffling off the bill. And I finally asked you what that was about, and I'd love for you to tell everybody else why you say that every night.
Well, a lot of them probably know the story, but yeah, when I sign off my Opry spot, I just do the one line and I say good night to the announcer and good night, Jaybird. It started back in the mid '80s when my son was 6 years old. His name is Jamie, and I always called him Jaybird from the time he was born, just about. And
That's cute.
you might remember his mother was in a real bad automobile wreck when he was 6 years old, and for a long period of time, I kind of had to be his mama and his daddy and take care of a lot of things that I hadn't been all that used to taking care of. And it became a real tradition with us at night that during the week I would tuck him in bed and tell him good night before he went to sleep. And of course, take him to school the next day and everything. Well, the first time I went to the Opry, on a Saturday night after his mother's wreck, and he was at home with the babysitter. I got home about 1 o'clock in the morning, and he was sitting up in the bed wide awake. And I said, "What are you doing awake?" He said, "You didn't tell me good night." Because I wasn't there to tell him good night. So, I tucked him in, told him good night. So I said, "Okay, the next time I'm on the Grand Ole Opry, I'll tell you good night on the radio. And will you go to sleep?" He said, "Yeah, I'll go to sleep." So the next night I was on, I just said goodnight, Jaybird, and got home, and he was sound asleep. Oh, he wouldn't go to sleep until I told him good night.
That's great.
The second part of that story is what's so special to me. I mean, that's special, but he went off to school. He went to college up in Indiana. And when he would get homesick at night, he told me, midnight, sometimes he'd go out and sit in his car parked outside the dormitory at college just to hear me say goodnight to Jaybird. But my favorite part, he became an airline pilot, and he flew for Delta for 5 years. And he told me one night that he was flying a DC-9 jet flying over Cincinnati, Ohio. They can turn on the AM radio. He turned on WSM at 30,000 feet over Cincinnati and heard me say goodnight, Jay Bird.
That's good.
I say it the rest of my life.
He didn't fall asleep, did he?
Didn't fall asleep flying the plane. I hope not.
Oh, 2010. Okay, so it was 16 years ago. I love that story. Bill was 72 here then, because I think he's 88 now. Because I was wondering that on the last part that I did. But just fantastic. I love the Jaybird thing. That's sort of like Carol Burnett used to do this, and I think that was her way of saying goodnight to her daughter. Or I think Carol Burnett had a child that passed away. Something like that. But when you see her doing that on the old shows, the Carol Burnett show, she's communicating with a loved one. That was fantastic, Ronnie. I mean, the stories in these things are so good, and I love it. The human element, and Alison Krauss didn't like the one lyric in Whiskey Lullaby, and so she changed it from Blew Away to whatever the lyric was, Drank Away. And it's just fascinating how different people have different imprints on the songs. Now you've got major songwriter and Bill Anderson, major influence in him, and you got John Randall, and then you've got Brad Paisley Gonna Do It, and Alison Krauss comes in, and she's like, I don't like this lyric. I do not want to sing that. And whatever that meant, whatever it was, but then you hear who's it? John Randall said, yeah, you could change the song, just don't change the check or something like that. And then Vince is like, yeah, you can change any part of the song you want, just don't change the name on the check. And it is about the money too. I mean, you can't avoid that. That's life in this world, and it's certainly part of the entertainment business and the music business that royalties are very, very important stream of income for some more than others. You know, Vince is set. He's got Amy Grant, his wife. You know, she all by herself is set. But it's just part of the business, and you see that in here. And then you see the emotion, of course, going back in the early part of Bill's career, and then a 6-year-old boy, you know, with his mother's car accident, and then you didn't say goodnight. And it obviously means a lot to Bill to have a son that wanted to hear him say goodnight, Dad. You know, and he tuned in while he's flying a DC-9 over Cincinnati. So, you can get AM radio at that height. At that altitude. I don't know if you can get FM. I think you'd lose the signal a lot faster with FM anyway, because the frequency is modulated more than the amplitude is modulated. I don't know. Some of you folks know. But Ronnie, that was wonderful. That you were right. That 90-minute episode showcased a bunch, and even Rhonda switching up the word and bluegrass music in the end, which is beautiful. We didn't get to see Jamie Johnson. He did say that one thing in the end. He didn't fall asleep flying the plane, did he? But maybe he sang on episode 2, or maybe he'll on 4, however things go. But all right, guys, that's going in the documentary series playlist, a well-populated playlist, and growing. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on another video, and keep rocking in New Jersey. Keep rocking the country.
And give Brad the credit for coming up with the idea to put Allison on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, who better
Because we
than a
did not write
bluegrasser?
it that way.
What's that?
Wow.
You need a good bluegrasser if you're going to kill somebody.
Yeah, you do.